Hi and welcome to another episode of eCommerce One. And today's guest is Alex Doyle. Now, Alex is the founder and CEO of ALTR London, a cosmetic company with a focus on environmentally friendly products for men. How you doing, Alex? You okay?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, really well. Yeah, really good. Busy week. I think as we were saying before the call, it's almost like there's been a light switch put on in a lot of businesses this last few days. Literally madness since Monday. I think obviously we've got this maybe an element of a lot of children going back to school and a lot of summer holidays been and done. And I know you were saying how busy things are as well. So I think it'd be good to get a little background from you, sort of the motivation behind ALTR London, if that's okay.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I think it's leading up to Black Friday and Q4. It's just starting to get absolutely hectic. But yeah, prepping hard. So ALTR London. We've been around for about 2 years now, 2.5 years. I started it just after coming out of university. Sort of growing up as a teenager, I always struggled with spots and acne. And obviously, as a sort of teenage guy in school and then university, you can become quite self-conscious of it, particularly when you're going out a lot and you're on social media all the time. So I was always looking for sort of medical solutions, something that could help me cover up the spots and acne, but never really found anything until a female friend recommended cosmetics, concealer. I tried that, thought, wow, this is a game changer, but it's not quite right for my skin. I don't really know how to apply it. Like, guys just aren't brought up wearing makeup, cosmetics in the same way that women are. And so sort of thought, if a brand can sort of show this off and do it in a way that's innovative, new, and actually shows guys how to apply, I thought there might be something there. And that's really where we started off from.
Literally, it was a problem that you'd encountered personally, and that you're looking for sort of options, and then went from. So did you? So tell me how. So you manufacture your own products, and obviously in the sort of cosmetic space, I think there's a lot of chatter and sort of discussion around how things are tested, and how things are then brought to they're tested through different trials and then ultimately you get sort of the stamp of approval, but not many firms, including yourself, test on animals anymore. So how do you test your products?
Yeah, so when we were starting off, we had to find a manufacturer. So we do have a manufacturer who produces the products for us. I wanted them to be UK based, both for sort of ease of communication and speed of sort of going from sort of order to actually getting the order.
Yeah.
Also for sustainability reasons. Obviously nowadays things are traveling from China all across the world, and from a sustainability point of view, which is quite big in our ethos, it was really important to me that the products were coming from the UK and had quite a sort of low carbon footprint.
Yeah.
In terms of testing, you're right. Most brands nowadays don't test in animals, particularly smaller ones. And the way we do the testing is, the technical side of it, we leave to our manufacturers mainly, but make sure that it's all dermatologically tested. Always a tough word, that one. But obviously, for myself, growing up with acne, it's really important that products sort of doing more good for the skin than they are harming it, which can be the case with a lot of cosmetics products nowadays. So, like our Face Fix Concealer, for instance, which is our bestseller. That has Supreme China Clay in it, which is an ingredient that actually removes excess dirt, grime, and oil from the skin, which are prime causes of acne and other skin problems.
Yeah. Okay, so very important how the product is manufactured, very important how the product is transported. So you've got that sort of sustainability aspect, that sort of carbon footprint aspect. And I think how important has that been to like the branding of the products and the brand, in terms of I know you've got a huge community out there. I think that ties in quite nicely with that community, doesn't it? It's obviously you've got a certain way that you do business and a certain way that you will only run with and sell products that sort of fit and tick that box.
I think that's it nowadays. We are very much targeted at sort of Gen Z and millennials, who are obviously much more conscious environmentally and socially than perhaps consumers have been in the past. So nowadays it's really important to have a good ethos behind the brand, and that sort of comes from your practices from making the product to when you're marketing the product and
Yeah.
Beyond that even, to when you're actually fulfilling the products and the sort of follow-up journeys beyond that.
So community-wise, obviously you're very strong on a lot of the different social channels. Any insights you can give the listeners into some of the things that have worked for you on the community aspect, or some of the advice you would give on building that community?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think being a male makeup brand, we started off very Facebook focused, very Instagram focused as well. We did, obviously being makeup for men, we were one of the first brands out there, and there just wasn't like the search volume there, so we weren't really getting much traffic from Google organically.
Yeah.
So we really had to focus on push advertising,
Yeah.
which we did a lot of through Facebook marketing, where we use a lot of influencer posts particularly.
Yeah.
That I find helps in terms of sort of building a bit of trust and confidence around a product that guys haven't tried before, perhaps showing the sort of favorite reality stars or even just micro influencers. I think it sort of really gains that credibility from them to your brand in a sense. I think once we acquired those customers and they're following us, it's really about posting relatable content. We do a lot of stuff in terms of memes, as well as a lot of tutorial content and giveaways and IGTV and all that sort of thing. Really, that's really important, sort of building that connection to the consumer.
So a whole mix there in terms of the types of content. I know you do a lot of, like say, makeup tutorials and video. So you get your community to create video and send video and reviews and that style. Sort of the real customers that are using the product actually chipping in and contributing, just to the whole sort of content piece.
Yeah, that's really important for us. I mean, most of our sort of paid advertising spend is using sort of that user-generated content, really. We encourage our customers a lot to sort of send in their before and after content, their video footage, once they've made the product, and reward them with vouchers using our loyalty program, free products, and all that jazz, really, because I just find that the way you sort of gain trust from other people is showing regular people using your products, really.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing like a relatable, somebody that's like yourself with the same problem or similar problems that are now, like a brand, tried a brand, and trust the brand, more importantly, with products for your skin, which is obviously a very personal thing. I think there's a lot of, it's very easy to fire up a Facebook ad, but you don't just overnight have that brand authority trust. It takes time, and if you've got your actual genuine customers posting videos of how happy they are, and there's a consistent flow of different creatives of actual consumers that are buying your product. What there's nothing better, is there? I mean, in any business, it's all right. Businesses saying how great their products are, which everyone could do, can't they? But nothing better. Same for a boring old agency. In comparison to an e-com store, we can tell you how great our DPA advertising campaigns are, but there's nothing better than speaking to a customer who did, X amount a month through DPAs or whatever. So yeah, okay. So obviously you're only 2 years into the journey. It's quite a new, that's nothing in reality, but it's obviously a lot of ups and downs, no doubt.
Yeah, a lot longer than 2 years, I'll tell you that.
2 years into the launch, wasn't it? Is that what you said at the beginning?
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. From sort of obviously a lot of time behind, but before the sort of the actual live. What would you say has been some of your biggest learning points throughout your journey?
I'd say a big thing that I've been focusing a lot more on recently is mentality, really. When it comes to business, I think that it's very easy to go through the highs and lows of running a business and letting that sort of affect your mood in a sense. And I think that sort of trickles down into everything you're doing. I think it trickles down into your creativity. For one, when you're looking to market your business, if you're not in the right frame of mind and thinking positively, I think that can really sort of show in what you're producing and how you're marketing to customers. So that's been a big focus for me recently, is sort of really getting on top of the sort of mental game, having a positive attitude.
Have you got any sort of routines then, and sort of specific things that you do, or is there any sort of actionable takeaways that you'd recommend? Is any sort of morning things and sort of
it's not,
or?
I feel like it should be something really exciting, and now you say it like that, but it's more just particularly for me, I find exercise is super important.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
I'm exercising regularly, I'm getting angsty, I'm getting frustrated,
Yeah.
and I really need something to be able to take that out. So thankfully, I play a lot of football, which helps me take out the energy. Otherwise, it would be
Yeah, some of the guys here started five-a-side. I think yesterday, actually. It's like, wow. I like a bit of fitness. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it's obviously more and more challenging. It has been more and more challenging when we're working from home. So sort of
sure. You just staying inside all the time, and you don't get that sort of break, perhaps, from work-life balance. And then
yeah.
if you've not got that other sort of thing to really take your mind off it and sort of channel your energy into it, can be quite draining.
Yeah, so obviously you're in a you're in a niche, a sub niche within sort of grooming, male grooming, or male cosmetics. You're saying about some of the social media strategies you're doing. Sounds fantastic, but still there must be a lot of other brands doing similar things, and still. For the guys that are listening and sort of trying to get a takeaway from the podcast, it still can be challenging to sort of raise your head above and be heard above all the noise that's out there in either, whether in whatever industry you're in. So any sort of tips you can give to really get noticed? You talked about micro influencers, which I think is, I think a lot of people obviously know about that area, but it's not as well known. Like it's not like I always know about SEO, PPC, Facebook ads, but influencers. Maybe talk about that a bit more, and also anything else that you think the listeners could get value from in terms of really getting heard above all the noise that's out there in an industry.
No, 100%. I mean, like you say, we're kind of niche in the sort of grand scheme of things, but even within that, I mean, we've been around for 2 years now. We were like the first guys really doing this sort of men's makeup and taking a social media approach. And then within the last year or so, it's just suddenly there's a new brand popping up. Seems like every other week there's a new brand popping up and trying to do this sort of same thing that we're doing and following in our lead, in a sense. So it's really important, I think, like you say, to sort of try and make sure you're constantly ahead of the game, which is never easy to do. But I think that's the main thing, really, is it's making sure you're producing content that is innovative and different. And like you say, influencers, okay, everyone's using influencers nowadays, but doing that in a way that's different is super important. The way we do it now is try and build that trust by getting influencers onto a sort of longer term contract, essentially. So we have influencers sign up for 3 to 6 month contracts whereby they get free products and affiliate commission.
Do you find them yourself, or do you work through an agent? How does that work? We're not an influencer agency. I'm intrigued personally how it's not something we do at all, and I think a fraction of our clients do as well. Where's a good place to start? Guys that are listening in, right? They want to engage influencers. What's a couple of strategies to engage them?
Yeah, I mean, we do most of it ourselves. Like being a sort of brand focused on millennials, etc. It's a bit easier because we have quite a good fan base, quite a big community as well nowadays, which means that they come directly to us a lot of the time and sort of want to collab. And then it's sort of, particularly when it's people who've used your products before, it's actually easier as well because they might not have as big a following, but they know how to use your product. They they like your product and they're going to do a really good job of selling it. And I think that authenticity is super important as well. So I think that people sort of have these boundaries of followers. They have to have X amount of followers. When in reality, I think actually the content is the most important part. So the most value you're going to get is through being able to reuse that content and sort of reshare it. And so that's a big one for us, is when they come to us. And then there's also a cool app called Carro out there as well, which I don't know if you've heard of. That's a Shopify app, and they basically can sort of take your customer data and see how many Instagram followers they all have, essentially. So they can make them to Instagram profiles, see, okay, these are your customers with the most influence. You can then reach out to them, and that's all for free pretty much as well. So it's a really cool platform to start off if you want to look within your existing database.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? I think you've got influencers, and like anything, you've got these tiers, I guess, where you've got these maybe household names, which are going to be very expensive and maybe not connect, or it's going to be hard to find somebody that really connects with your audience, maybe. But when you've got these existing customers that are, they're still gonna have quite a following, but they're going to be, I guess, to put it bluntly, they're going to be cheaper, aren't they? To get started, and obviously, and they're obviously there on a journey as well as influencers and social media sort of influencers. So you're going to build relationships, I assume, with some of these people that are up and coming, which is great for the brand as well, commercially for both sides. You're working with up and coming people, they're working with up and coming brands. Commercially, you're both winning. Would that be fair to say?
No, you're spot on there, really. We've been running this influence program for about a year now, and even within that time, we've seen some of our influencers go from really, very low followings to tens of thousands of followers on Instagram and thousands of YouTube subscribers as well, which is great. It's like you say, it's a win-win, whereby we're back at this point now. We're getting followers from them, and they're getting followers from us while sharing each other's content. So it's so
it literally can start for a few £100 sort of thing, is what we're saying, potentially. Maybe is that what you're saying, or?
And we don't pay influencers in general at all. We pay via products and via affiliate fees, essentially.
Yeah.
So they're getting paid when they're selling products, essentially, which obviously, again, it's a win-win, and our affiliates and our influencers do well out of it as well. So they're happy because they're making sales. We sort of promote them through our emails and our Instagram page, and promote their code to help them out with it, of course. But
so
I think with the micro influencers, the smaller influencers, a lot of the time you don't have to pay a flat out fee, really.
So the affiliate, so obviously a lot of the revenue comes via the affiliates for them. Is there any affiliate technology that you'd recommend? So you're using Shopify, anything specific that you would sort of recommend?
We do a lot of it through AWin at the moment, a big platform. And we run most of it through there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, very long-standing company. Yeah,
exactly. They do a good job of it for us, just keeping track of it. I know there are a few up-and-coming sort of Shopify apps, I think, that are out there that seem to be doing some cool stuff as well, whereby it gives sort of both sides a lot more visibility, which I'm quite keen at looking at the moment. But so I'd recommend starting there, perhaps.
So I think a lot of great takeaways there, guys. The guys that are listening in, the Shopify app, is it Carro? Where we can see the customers that are buying from us, and then align that with their sort of social influence. And obviously then you can reach out to them directly and say, hey, I see you bought XYZ, or however, whatever your language and how you want to do it, obviously DMs and all that jazz. And then, get them out, talk to them about becoming an affiliate and promoting the products. And then naturally, if they decide to take you up on that, they're going to start earning commissions directly through AWin. And I guess AWin will take care of all the financial side of things. Literally, you get paid like normal through the Shopify store, and then AWin will charge you. We'll send you a bill each month. You'll get a bill, and then the affiliate stroke influencer will get a payout from AWin directly. So all quite clean. But I really like the Carro idea. I know I've seen quite a few of the new, well, they're not that new now, but the review companies, that are out there, they have a similar thing where they see which companies have bought their product, through Shopify, whatever it may be. And then they can, again, tie that back in, if they've left a review or not. But more so if they have left a review, then they can say, gee, and obviously every now and then we all get famous people that buy from us, or semi-famous people or influencers, etc. And I was reading something the other week, somebody that had, I'm not sure if it was Colin McGregor, I think it was, had bought something off their website. So most of their stats were like that, and then it was like, it was like, oh my God, obviously get Colin McGregor to mention the product, etc. It's it's a whole nother. That's a busy few days sort of thing. Okay, so so a couple of years since launch, obviously that's quite a roller coaster journey from start to finish, or start to today. But what sort of plans have you got in place to grow the business? What sort of ideas do you have for the next? Maybe we've got a busy quarter. I think the busiest quarter known to man is upon us for any e-com store. Obviously, we say that every year, but even more so, we've got obviously COVID to contend with as well. So we've had, I think, the busiest quarter known to man. Summer, bizarrely enough, but obviously now we've got this crazy quarter upon us, pretty much. So any particular plans and strategies for the next quarter, but then looking beyond that, what are your plans for the sort of immediate future?
Yeah, I'm super interested to see how sort of Q4 develops this year, Black Friday. I know a lot of brands out there have been on constant promotions, etc., during COVID. So it'll be interesting to see the sort of knock-on effect that has. It's not something we've never been really super discount focused, minus a few events a year.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see what happens there. But more broadly, we're really having a focus in the next couple of months on our new product launches. We've got a big aim to really sort of increase our average order value.
Yeah.
And also our sort of retention rate, which is okay, around 20-25% at the moment retention rate, but we want to get that up. And I think our current product range has sort of got quite a long lifespan. So having products in there as well, having more products in there which customers can add to their routine can only be a good thing. I think it would also then, if we can get that average order value and that retention rate up a bit, it gives us a bit more sort of flex in our marketing budget and our CPAs as well, which is always good.
Focusing on the lifetime value, additional products, upsell, cross-sell type products, retention. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, massively. I mean, that's a big thing that we've one of the big changes we made was sort of going to a more sort of combo focus in terms of our sales, which was towards the end of last year, where we moved from sort of focusing more on individual product sales to bundles, and that's really paid fruition for us, really.
So I guess we as a young man or a man, you're buying your products, but if you're helping to cure and conceal acne and spots and the various different skin conditions, and you sort of that's a niche, absolutely. But then are you planning on then having completely different products to go after that? So obviously, because if you say, you've acquired that customer, they're buying your product every other month to conceal or to help cure. I guess then it's like, what else are you going to sell them? Because you've now cured it or you've helped that problem. So it's like, is there a sort of roadmap of products that you're looking at rolling out that are not maybe skin concealer and that type of thing, spot concealer?
No, you're spot on there, really. I mean, it was quite interesting, actually, because when I started the business, we started with two main products, which was our moisturizer and our concealer. So moisturizer, obviously more traditional skincare.
Yeah.
Most guys know about moisturizer if they don't use it, perhaps, but concealer is obviously a bit more niche. I thought initially, okay, what will happen is the moisturizer will be the gateway product into the brand, and then people will sort of look around and buy the more cosmetic focused products.
Yeah.
In reality, I was completely wrong. I was talking nonsense. Basically, the problem with moisturizer is it's not the easiest thing to sell over the internet because you don't have that touch and smell element of it, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's a much more crowded field.
Yeah.
Whereas men's cosmetics, at the time particularly, was less crowded, and there's a much more sort of visible impact of which you can show via social ads, for instance. Obviously, it's easier to show tutorial videos when it's something that's visibly being changed, which is red in the box, dark circles. And then what we've seen essentially is now most of our customers on the first purchase are buying our concealer, our BB cream, the cosmetic products, and then they're coming back and buying the skincare products, and then those are the products they're sort of repurchasing because they have a sort of shorter lifespan. So yeah, what you're saying basically is spot on, whereby we're sort of looking to sort of move out, expand away from purely makeup to sort of broader skincare, broader male grooming.
I've got two teenage sons. One's 13, how to think then. 13, 15, and they've got a bathroom each, and ensuite and whatnot. And I walk in their bathroom. I thought I had some gear, sort of thing, and it's just like, they're obviously really into, as a lot of young men and women are, obviously into looking good and smelling good, and the different. He's got different. I won't mention any brands, maybe, but all the different products and different brands, and you can just sort of see now, they've started on that journey as a probably 13-year-old, even probably 12. They probably started in the house, probably younger than that. They get all the different aftershaves for Christmas from uncle, whatever, and auntie this. They've got them all stacked up from the last 4 years. And,
yeah, it definitely seems like it's getting more and more image focused as we go sort of through the generations.
I mean, whenever we're going out, my kids, I mean, they look so bloody smart and smell so good, and it's just like, I mean, I'm sure we all did, but it's like, wow, they really, really take pride in their parents, which is great, as boys as well.
Speaking of teenagers, something else I did want to touch on actually when we were talking about growth is sort of TikTok.
Yeah.
It's something we're doing a lot more of now.
Yeah.
We started advertising on TikTok over summer.
Yeah.
It's been a journey. It's obviously sort of see highs and lows of it.
Yeah.
But generally, I mean, the CPMs are so much lower than Facebook. I think it's a really cool platform, and I think as it develops more and the ad platform develops more, it's going to be a really cool tool for marketers moving forward.
Yeah, we were asked to join the partner program about 4 months ago, which we did accept and signed up. But then we've been that busy with the Google Shopping side, that we decided just to hold for now. But obviously, we're seeing a lot. Obviously, it's all brand new, isn't it? It's only like 4 or 5 months it's been out there, really. But yeah, amazing. We've got a lot of agency friends that own other agencies, obviously crazy low CPMs and whatnot. But I've not heard massively of sort of what would your stance be on return on ad spend and sort of early days?
Like I say, it's been going. It's very up and down. Like when we first launched TikTok ads, we saw an immense return. Like immediately, it was really exciting for the first 3 to 5 days, and suddenly it started to lull and further, and then suddenly sort of petered out, and then we started up again. So we sort of stopped advertising there for a few weeks and started up again a few weeks ago, and starting to see good results again, actually. The problem is, I find with the platform is the tracking isn't as advanced as Facebook, so it's difficult to sort of monitor. We're having to use discount codes, which is a bit, let's basically monitor sales, which is always, you're not going to get the full picture. But I mean, we were seeing pretty good returns, and particularly when TikTok at the moment are sort of helping advertisers out. I think they're doing a sort of double your ad spend promotion at the moment, whereby you spend 100 quid to get your 100 quid free credit. So it's kind of halving your sort of CPA, which is
I mean, they certainly push it. Obviously, they're advertising on telly, they're advertising everywhere to advertise the fact that you can advertise on there. But I've yet to see or hear. I mean, we're not doing the ads yet, so it's not firsthand, but I've yet to hear anybody say about return. And I know it's early days, but I mean, it's something we will probably hold off till in the new year, personally. But it's obviously an interesting one, especially for your target audience.
That's it. I think it's a very good sort of authoritative on market, particularly. So it's
we interviewed another lady from Beauty Boulevard about 3 months ago, and that's something they're looking at. They're a cosmetic brand, various products, glitter lips and whatnot, and various other products, but that's something that I know they were looking at as well. Okay, so what would you say has been your biggest challenge as a young business owner?
Yeah, I'd probably say it is sort of re-innovating in a sense. I mean, we've only been going for, like, say, two and a bit years now, but even then, like, say, new brands coming into the market, we sort of come up with an approach that's working, and then you've got to sort of adapt as you go along, really, because, like I say, then other brands sort of catch hold of what's working, and you've got to change again. I think it's quite easy in a way to come up with the first idea, the idea for a business, and an original sort of marketing campaign around it. Okay, we're going to do this to market it. I think it's very, very tough to sort of constantly be creative, constantly come up with new ideas. And I think the way I personally have sort of started to get over that sort of block is having people around me that I can sort of bounce ideas off, and having a lot more contact with people who know what they're doing as well, which is always useful. But I think early days, particularly, I mean, I was on my own, obviously, doing it, and then it can be quite tough to really be constantly coming up with new ideas.
And I guess that's where that community aspect of your brand and the social platforms that you're engaged in, and the encouraging them to post about their experience with your brand. Obviously, your community are giving you the ideas as well. You're getting ideas or offshoots of ideas, and sort of self perpetuates. Oh, I didn't think of that. I saw the video of, I was looking at your ads before you came on, looking at your Facebook ads library, see what ads you were running and the tutorials and the different, waiting for it to be run, the way it's very creative. I think the guys that are listening to the podcast, I would recommend that you have a little look at what ALTR London are doing, and I would seriously go and check them out on Facebook. I'll go and check their, obviously if it's a product that you're interested in, absolutely, but also I would have a look at the way that they're, managing their pages, the way that they are managing their ads. For those that don't know, you can look at anybody's ads by going to the Facebook ads library. Just Google that, facebook.com/ads/library, I think it is. You can see all your ads. I hope you don't mind me. I think everyone knows that now-ish, I think. So, it'll give you some good insight, the guys that are listening, on some of the ideas, creative ideas, community-driven ideas that you can come up with as a brand. And obviously, try the products if it's something that interests you. So thanks, Alex, for being on the podcast. I always like to end every episode with a book recommendation. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be cosmetics, it can be mindset, it can be traffic, it can be whatever you'd like it to be.
No, I think for me, one of my favorites is probably it's called The Undoing Project. It's by Michael Lewis. If you don't know, he wrote The Big Short, which is obviously a massively famous film now. But this book's actually to do with Daniel Kahneman, who you might also know from, he wrote Thinking Fast and Slow, which is a super popular book today in terms of, and he's sort of seen as the sort of founder of behavioral psychology. So Michael Lewis's book actually follows his journey, how he came up with his theories with his partner Amos Tversky. I personally find behavioral psychology so interesting. I find it really important as well for the mindset of a marketer, particularly.
So really, I think that sort of area obviously so important with ad copy, creative, content, community, engagement, all that sort of side of things. It's all crosses over, doesn't it? Okay, well, thank you very much for being on the podcast. So if the guys that are listening want to find out more about yourself, more about the brand, what's the best way to do that, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to our website, www.altrlondon.com, or just check us out on Instagram at ALTR London, everywhere basically at ALTR London, where you can find us. We'll be there, I'm sure.
Well, thanks for being a guest on the podcast. I look